Hey guys, welcome to the second part of 7.3, special right triangles of the 30, 60, 90 variety. So yesterday we talked about the special relationships of the 45, 45, 90, and today we're going to talk about the 30, 60, 90. Okay, so just like yesterday, you're going to have a right triangle. Now angle measures are 30, 60, 90. And the side ratios generated by those angle measures are 1, 2, square root of 3. They're going to be a little less easy to work with than our 45 counterparts, but I think you can do it. Or, like yesterday, we set up this x, 2x, x square root of 3 side ratios, and that's going to help us be able to get the values that we need to fill in the sides of these triangles without using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so let's start off nice and easy. The easiest thing that's going to be for us is when we're given the smallest side, which is opposite the 30 degree. So let's say they give us this side, it's 4. All right, so now remember, this is x, this is 30. 2x and x root 3. So if my short side x is 4, then 2 times x gives me the hypotenuse, which is super easy. And then x times the square root of 3 is going to give me the middle side. Okay, so that's not so bad. You double it for the hypotenuse and take it times the square root of 3 for the side opposite the 60. All right, let's do another one. What if I have 6 here? Well, again, this is x, 2x, x square root of 3. So I'm going to double it for the hypotenuse, 2 times x. And then I'm going to take that value and multiply times the square root of 3 for my side opposite the 60 degree. Okay, so this is when, perhaps this is worth noting, side opposite the 30 degree. All right, those are 2 examples of side opposite the 30 degree, just until you get proficient at identifying them. So now let's talk about when longest side is given, or opposite the 90. Okay, so what would that look like? Let's say we have 2, and then we have A and B. All right, so again, we have to be able to line up our information. This was x, 2x, and x root 3. The easiest thing would be to always try to get that smallest side, right? Because just like in the previous 2 examples, like once you have that smallest side, everything comes pretty easy. But when you have the hypotenuse, it's not too hard to get that short side. All we have to do is divide by 2, right? Because this represents 2x. So to get x, all we have to do is take 2 and divide by 2, which would give us 1. And then once we have the short side, we take this x and multiply it by the square root of 3 for your side opposite the 60. Or simply the square root of 3. We don't usually write that 1 out front. Okay? So when you're given the hypotenuse, take it, divide by 2, and then you can take your short side times the square root of 3. All right, let's do another one like that. Let's do, the hypotenuse is going to be 6. All right, so find the side opposite the 30, and it's going to be half of that, right? Because again, I'll keep drawing this over and over again. Hopefully you guys will start to internalize it, x 2x, x root 3. You don't really need to set up an equation for these, I don't think, when you're just dealing with the shortest side and the longest side, because it's just a multiplication of 2, right? So we should be able to multiply by 2 to get 6, and take 6, divide by 2 to get 3. And then once you have the short side, then opposite, the 60 is short side times the square root of 3. All right. Let's see, I think there's one more. This is kind of a messy one. Let's see how we do with it. This time we're given 4 root 3 divided by 3 as our long side. Okay, well, I guess I should have said it's pretty easy as long as you have integers as values. All right, so we have to take half of this to get my short side, right? Because again, we've got x, 2x, x root 3. I want to get my short side. So I have to take 4 square roots of 3 divided by 3, and then I have to divide that by 2. Well, dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. So when we multiply by 1/2, we can multiply right across and get 4 root 3 all over 6. And then we can reduce on the outside there and get 2 square root of 3 root 3. So my short side is 2 root 3 over 3. And now in order to get my y value, I have to take my short side and multiply that times the square root of 3. So 2 root 3 over 3 times the square root of 3 is going to be 2 times 3, because the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is simply 3, all over 3. And you can either recognize that that's going to divide out and you're just going to get 2, or you can see that that's 6 over 3, which would reduce to 2. So actually, after all that yuckiness, my middle side is actually just 2. All right, stay with me. What if we're given the side opposite the 60? So this is the one that tends to cause people the most trouble. Let's look at an example. And this is 30, and this is 60. All right, let's say we're given the side opposite the 60 as 8. That looks nice and easy, but remember that that side ratio relationship is actually x square root of 3. So we can set these equal to each other just like we did in the last section with the 45, 45, and solve for x, knowing that that's going to give me my short side. Then I can multiply it by 2 and get the long side. So if I have 8 equal to x root 3, and I divide both sides by the square root of 3, and I have x equals 8 square roots of 3. But we don't like that square root of 3 on the bottom, just like we didn't like the square root of 2 on the bottom. And so we're going to get 8 root 3 all over 3. And that cannot be reduced, so that is my short side, 8 root 3 all over 3. Now all we have to do is take that and multiply times 2. Sounds easy, right? No, it really is, I promise. All right, so if you have, now we need the 2x side, 8 root 3 over 3, and we're going to multiply this times 2. Remember, you multiply outside the radical, leave everything in the radical the same, and underneath, see if you can reduce, but in this case you can't. So you're going to get 16 root 3 all over 3. All right, stay with me. Let's do another one. Pause it if I'm going way too fast. Sometimes I go way too fast. All right. What if we have opposite the 60 is going to be 7 root 3 all over 2. All right, again, remember when you're given the side opposite the 60, you're at x root 3. That's the side relationship. You're looking for x so that you can multiply it times 2 and get the short and the long side. So we're going to set our side lengths equal to each other. And now we have to solve for x. So again, we need to divide by the square root of 3, which looks yucky, but actually then those square roots of 3's just go away. And x is going to be 7/2. So the short side is going to be 7/2. And then all we have to do is multiply by 2 to get my 2x. So the 2x side is 7. All right. I know that was a lot of examples. If it's too fast, make sure you go back through it slowly. But when you're ready, finish up your notes, read through the examples, and begin your assignment.